Hi, this 3D print is gear plate. I found gear plate on Thingiverse. Here's a link to the Thingiverse page in case you'd like to download gear plate yourself and print it. What gear plate is it's this plate with a bunch of holes in it, and then there's gears, and each gear has a little stud out the back. Stud will go into the hole, and you can assemble them to make a system of gears. You can easily turn with this crank. So the crank too is kind of pressed in. Basically a gear like any other here. And what I liked about this is that there's a variety of different gears and a variety of different designs and sizes. One of my objections to some of the toys that my daughter has is they're kind of uninteresting. All the gears are the same size. So I thought I would get her something that has different size gears that she could play with. I might take away some of the smaller ones because I don't know if they're a choking hazard, like this tiny little one here. The smaller ones are also seem to be kind of a little bit more difficult to deal with in that they don't have as much surface area to stay flat. So it works pretty well. I printed this in Amazon Basics PETG with a layer height of 0.3 millimeters on a Prusa i3 Mark III printer. A few of the issues I ran into, the studs are not very big going out the back, so it's easy to get going too fast. You know, you hop a gear, hop the stud out of the plate, and then you have to put it back in. Let me get it lined up. The author of the thing did try to compensate for that with some of these K version gears that have a little raised nub at the end. I think the idea was you could push that in, the raised nub would hold it. Either the tolerances are off in my printer or there just isn't enough clearance, but I cannot easily push this gear with the nub on it into the hole. So I did not use the K version that were designed to stay in. I used the original version that pop in and out fairly easily. It's nice, you know, you can rearrange them, you can move them around. So another issue I had is several of the gears had modeling issues when I tried to run them through Slicer, and that would manifest as there would be a, you can't see it on this because I've already fixed it, but there would be a cylinder, a hole in the gear right underneath the stud, and then the stud wouldn't be adhered because there'd be a big hole there. There's some kind of facing problem. So I suggest if you do decide to print this, make sure you preview these slices in Slicer. Make sure there's not a big empty hole underneath the stud. If there is, it's very easy to fix. You can double click the model and add in a cylinder, about a 10 millimeter high cylinder, about 4 millimeters in diameter. We'll fill that gap, and then you'll have a solid part. But just be aware in case you have any slicing issues in your slicer. So I did have one small flaw in my print, and that's, I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. I lost adhesion in just a little tiny spot. I print my first layer pretty slowly so that I get good adhesion. So it took me like an hour to do the first layer, and it happened at the very end. And it looked like it was recoverable, so I figured I'm not going to waste an hour and reprint this. I'll just go with it as is, and I think it turned out all right. But make sure your bed is prepped well and cleaned well, and you know, if you're using PETG, that you've used whatever release agent you're going to use to make sure you don't have any issues, particularly on something very large and flat like that. Plug the gear back in. So anyway, that's it. That's gear plate. I think it's fun to play with, fun to rearrange the gears. Next I'm going to link in Octolabs of the gears being printed. I hope you enjoyed this video. If this sort of thing interests you, then please subscribe and I will make more of them. Thank you.